Okay, hello. Can you hear me?
No. Hold on. Try again.
Can you hear me?
Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Got it. Just now. Can you hear me? Got it. That much of a delay.
Okay. Well, it's about 3 minutes after. I'm going to give everybody about 2 more minutes to log in and be able to see everything. There is a chat window available to the side. So as people start signing in, you can log in, just quickly state your name, put out a quick shout out, and we'll all be able to see it. Okay, it's about 5 after. We're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who have received my emails, I am the mentoring coordinator and youth development coordinator at San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps. My name is Anastasia Zamora Ortiz, and we're going to get started today with a really quick webinar. I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes about our mentoring program and how you can get involved. So you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. I am sick, so my voice is gonna sound a little strange. I might have to turn away to cough, but we're gonna try to get through this. As I mentioned, there is a chat available, so I'll try to keep up with messages best I can, but I'm just gonna try to power through this as quickly as I can. So let's go ahead and get started. The San Gabriel Valley Conservation and Survey Corps is a nonprofit organization, and we provide job training and academic instruction for youth ages 16 to 24. It was founded by Denny Ohaka, who is very involved in the program still. And his vision was to help disadvantaged youth develop the self-confidence to move forward. A lot of our youth are are disengaged from school. They've had some financial difficulties, some issues with gang involvement, and school wasn't really a priority for them. But Daniel Haka saw a great need in the community to go out and give these kids a purpose, and so we do so by providing services to the San Gabriel Valley. San Gabriel Valley Conservation Corps, just like it says, is focused on conservation and environmental stewardship. So we offer two different elements. The first element being job training, and we help them also get enrolled in our two charter school locations. We have one charter school location in El Monte and another one in Pomona. Both sites have a few different offerings in terms of what students can get involved in. The primary being environmental, recycling is another. We also have a construction program and overall leadership development. So we offer a few different types of leadership development with our Youth Policy Council. We also allow our students to kind of take control of their own futures, and they choose which pathway they want to go down, and we guide them as best we can. And so that's where our mentoring program comes in. So we'll start with a really brief what is mentoring? And it's a kind of rundown of the history of mentoring from the very, very beginning. So in 800 BC, King Odysseus sails away to the Trojan War and asks his friend Mentor to keep his only son safe, help him grow up to be successful. So this is my personal little takeaway from this. I love Greek mythology, and if you've ever been to the Getty, there is a painting called The Farewell of Telemachus and Eucharis, and this first little tidbit here is actually referring to Telemachus. And when Odysseus sailed away, Mentor kept Telemachus safe, until which time Telemachus went to search for his father and kind of bring him back with him. So it's kind of just a little tidbit of information. I don't know how many people are actually really interested in it, but that's the kind of nerd I am. I really like Greek mythology. So as we move forward, 1904, Ernest Coulter launched the Big Brothers movement by obtaining 39 volunteers who each agreed to befriend one boy. In 1977, Big Brothers Big Sisters of America grew to 357 agencies. In 1995, research showed how positive, measurable results for mentored youth, and the movement exploded. It became really popular. In 2007, Bill Clinton cited the importance of mentoring in a State of the Union address. In 2002, January is proclaimed the National Mentoring Month by Congress. And bringing it into today, we know that President Obama is a big proponent of mentoring. He was mentored himself, and he's also taken on a mentee. The PSAs that have gone out, that is his actual mentee, and he actually works really closely with him. So I thought that was kind of exciting, kind of stands by it. That is our fearless leader, so we stand by him. So what is mentoring in the YouthBuild sense? So as I mentioned before, we have 2 YouthBuild sites at SGVCC, one in El Monte and one in Pomona. And our youth really need extra guidance. Some of them don't have the best relationships at home. Some just need a little bit of a push in the right direction so they can make it to graduation without falling away. So in YouthBuild, mentoring really is defined as supporting guidance provided through a one-on-one relationship with a caring adult to assist a young person in achieving their developmental goals. We offer a few different elements, and the primary one being that they put together a life plan. So their life plan is designed to focus on their 5 aspects that they want to focus on, with the major one being education, because we do want all of our YouthBuild students to graduate. The second being what happens after graduation. Do they want to go to a vocational school? Do they want to go to a 4-year university? How do we get them there? 3 being their financial situation. So how do they take charge of their finances? Other aspects being family, spiritual, and just overall personal development goals. So these are the things that we really focus on in a mentoring relationship. And it's a big part of what we do. So again, mentoring is really at the center of all of the aspects of our school and our program. So leadership, education, graduate resources, counseling, and construction. At our 2 sites, we have an MSW at both sites, so our social work intern that works with our students on a personal level. So when you get involved in mentoring, it's not just okay, here's your mentee, have fun. We try to support the match in every way we can. Both myself and our MSWs work with you to try to get to the basis of where our youth is having trouble and how we can assist them. It is important to remember that when mentoring is not there, our program is not as successful as it could be. 1 in 12 students at the local school district drop out when there is no support. 57% of the students in the districts do not attend college. Unemployment among youth is about 35%. In 2010, 483 local youth were arrested. That's definitely the case, especially in some of the neighborhoods we service. Pomona and El Monte both have issues with youth incarceration. 167 of those were for violent crimes, and approximately 963 youth in our area are involved in gangs. And the idea of mentoring is that we step in where at the same point in their lives as some gang involvement does. So we want to get there before the gangs do, because in the end our youth are really just looking for somebody to support them, to relate to them on a level that their parents and their schools cannot. They're so used to seeing authority figures, they just want somebody who says, hey, you have potential. And unfortunately, in most cases, the gangs are the ones that are telling them that. So we want to be the ones telling them that and using that need for good. So our YouthBuild students are in these same crowds. 90% of our students have dropped out of traditional schools. 28% have not attended school in over 2 years. 45% have a substance use or abuse issue. 75% live below the poverty line. 36% have been in foster care. 25% admit to being in a gang prior to coming to YouthBuild, and 35% have a criminal record. So this is who we work with. I know a lot of people see this list and think, oh my gosh, these are bad kids. I've worked in both a classroom environment, non-classroom environment. I've gone out and done service projects with these youth, and they're not bad kids. All of these kids are excited to be somewhere that they can go out into their community and kind of take back their neighborhoods. Just this past weekend, we were involved in the Pomona Beautification Day, and our students were so excited to get out of the classroom, go out, get dirty. They were even having fun cleaning up trash and beautifying some of the murals at the Cesar Chavez Park in Pomona. They get really excited when they can go out and do something positive and then see results. And so that's really what our mentoring program is designed around. We want to create service projects where our students can get their hands dirty, work on goals, but at the same time, not in a structured fashion. Ultimately, we want to have, yes, some structure, but a really informal relationship that develops from our mentors and mentees. So attendance in our program is 85%. That's kind of the goal. We want our students to be there 85% of the time. Most of our students are there about 90 to 100% of the time, but life happens. 75% of our students get their diploma. We are a formal diploma program, so they do walk. They get the whole high school experience. 54% attend some higher education. We have our youth right now who are getting ready to graduate, who are filling out their applications to places like Mount Sac, Rio Hondo, Chaffee. They're really excited to take that next step. 65% get a job within 3 months of graduation, especially within our program, which is focused around job training in kind of a unique sense. We have job training that it goes beyond just the resume writing, the mock interviews. We give them hands-on work, and we've gotten a contract with the National Forest Foundation, and we've done work up in the San Gabriel Mountains, Angeles National Forest as well, and they build trails, they clean up graffiti, they have a unique opportunity to do their training at a campsite, so they get to go camping for 3 days as part of their training, which is awesome. I've tried many times to become a little intricate part, but unfortunately this job takes up most of my time, so someday I'll get up there. But only 15% of them reoffend after being in the program, and that's because we really offer something that it's very structured, but at the same time informal. They don't realize how much they get out of it until they're getting out of it. So it's kind of hard to sit down with a youth and say, hey, I'm going to change your life. They want to see it before they'll believe it. And since 1983, we've constructed over 135 units of housing, helping hundreds of local families. And that's really what YouthBuild's mission is we focus on housing and construction for at-risk neighborhoods and some low-income areas. So I'm going to pause just for a second to go ahead and check on how we're doing. So let me stop this screen share. Okay, and get back to the chat. Okay, so we have 2 viewers here. It looks like some people might be having trouble with audio. This is being recorded, so you'll be able to play this back at the end. And it'll be available as a kind of an archive. And we do have another mentoring session coming up. So here I go. I'm going to open up the chat here. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything in this chat. So for those of you who aren't too familiar with the Hangout setup, it's going to be on the left-hand side. You'll have a little menu here for the different options to get involved in the chat. It's the blue button at the top. It looks like little chat bubbles, and you'll be able to open up the chat window. So anybody who has any questions, feel free to type them into type them in. I have very clicky keyboard, so y'all will be able to hear me tapping. So I'm going to mute this just for a second so I can kind of focus on the chat. Okay, so I'm coming back on now. I noticed that there are some issues. This is my first time using On Air. I'm used to using just regular Hangouts. So I guess the difference between Hangouts on Air and regular Hangouts is that there's no connection to the chat. So I'm working out the kinks, but I'll try to answer your your questions as I can. So I'm going to try to get through this because it is being recorded. So I want it to move as quickly as I can so that we can have it posted after the fact. So, okay, so moving on. Um, my personal mentoring story. So obviously I'm here for a reason, and it's because I believe very firmly in the positive impacts that mentoring can have. I was a little sister, so I was in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program from the time I was 7 years old. It's a long time. I'm 27 now, so that's almost 20 years with my mentor. I was very at risk in the sense that my mom was 13 when she had me, and so she didn't really know how to step in as a parent. She ended up leaving when I was about 3 years old with her boyfriend, and I was being taken care of by my grandmother. I love my grandmother to death, and she's been a great influence on my life. However, she had a developmental disability, and so relating to her was kind of difficult in the sense of emotionally, she couldn't really deal with a lot of the issues I was having at the time. So through the program that helped my grandmother, I got connected with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I got matched with Paula. And our match was kind of unique right from the start. I was very, 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 very active. I was very peppy and I had a lot of energy, and Paula did too. She was very loving and supportive, and she kind of stepped in as just that person that I could talk to about anything that was bothering me that wouldn't phase her. I talked to her about everything from school to boys, and I was with her for a very long time. And when I was graduating high school, she ended up moving to Missouri. So our match kind of ended there, but it really didn't. I mean, just this last year I got married and she couldn't make it out to the wedding. So I flew my husband over there so he could meet her because she was such an important person in my life. It was really important to me. And one of the things that I get asked personally a lot is, okay, was she like a second mom? Did she take that place? No, actually, when my mom did come back into my life, I had a lot of issues, but Paula was able to talk to me about them. I ended up having a much better relationship with my mother because of Paula. Paula told me the things that I should ask my mom about, things that, my mom may have been going through that I didn't really think about because I only saw it from my point of view, not necessarily my mother's. So she really helped bridge that relationship and made it much stronger, and I am endlessly thankful. And we did a lot of fun things. It wasn't all just emotional turmoil. We did exciting things. I'd never been to an art gallery, and because of her, I went to both the Getty and the Huntington Museum. We would go and do very unique things. She was a bluegrass player, so I got to go to her banjo shows, and sometimes it wasn't anything as epic as that. Sometimes it was just going to a dog park, hanging out at the mall. Maybe I had to go run an errand. She could come with me because she had to run that same errand. It was really just a very powerful match that was in a lot of ways simple and really easy. It came really naturally. So I try to support similar matches for the youth in our program. So the power of YouthBuild mentoring is really tenfold. There are so many aspects in young people's lives that mentors impact that aren't really seen at first. It's kind of seen after the fact, but they do a lot of really astounding things. We're funded by the Department of Justice, so we have a grant that supports all of the activities that we do within the program. We currently have, as you see my number on the screen, it says your number here because my number was tentative. I just did another mentee info session yesterday, so we're up to 14 youth. So we have 14 youth who are looking for mentors, and we're trying to get them matched as soon as possible. More students will be enrolling in the fall as well, so we try to make it cyclical. We're trying to keep it going all throughout the year, so we try to match mentees as we get mentors. Our mentors are provided to our youth in a group setting first. So our group setting is kind of informal. We get together to work on the youth's life plans. And as we're putting those together, you kind of get into these activity groups where the mentees get to actually self-select who they want their mentor to be. So it's not just a meeting of strangers the first time we match you guys. It's kind of a self-selection process. We can only serve as many mentees as we have mentors. So that's where you guys come in, and then we're very thankful that you want to be a part of our program. So again, kind of our requirements are that matches meet one-on-one for 1 hour per week. I know that time restrictions make this difficult, so we do try to work with the match maybe 2 hours every other week, but we do want a minimum of 4 hours of contact. We also ask for a 15-month commitment. Now, this sounds like a lot, but the first 3 months is more or less getting to know you and getting to know the mentees and then building the relationship while the student is in the program. And as students graduate, we have a few of our students in the mentoring program who are graduating this year. And as they graduate, we're hoping that you support them in their next steps. We'll also be there. It's not like they graduate and then we leave them. It's definitely a very organic process. We are available as much as our students need us to be, and we're always welcoming them back to kind of engage in the program. And longer matches produce far better outcomes. I mean, I think I'm a testament of that. I had a 20-year match, and all of my life goals, I had these points, and I was able to go back and show Paula, look, this is what you helped me accomplish. And it felt good knowing that somebody out there was cheering me on no matter where I was in my life. And so that's really what we try to support. And that's what I myself personally try to support as well. So what does mentoring look like? Matches meet out in the community. Kind of similar to Paul and I, we encourage you to go out and do something fun that impacts the student's life plan. Each student will have their own personal life plan that can act as the inspiration for activities. So like say, one of their goals is to make a budget. So maybe you can go to a bank, maybe they'll have like I know they have webinars and different workshops that they host. So take them to a bank workshop, show them how personal finance impacts their life, something like that. Or something as basic as, I want to try to eat better this week. And you guys go to a farmer's market and pick up some healthy alternatives, put together a recipe. We support our matches in very unique ways. We just want you to have fun, spend time together, and get to know one another. And quarterly group outings and service projects enhance the experience. So that's kind of where our activities come in. Our group outing, our first group outing is going to be May 19th, and we're actually going to UCLA for a Smart and Sustainable Cities conference. And it's an all-day event, more or less. It starts at 8 a.m., goes till about 2. So it's the whole school day. We're going to take a couple of our mentees out, and we're encouraging mentors to come, but it's not required. We will have chaperones there. So, but it is highly encouraged that you come, and I'll send out more information on that at the end of this. So our students out of these matches get a source of support from the community, not just our staff. Because in a lot of cases, we're the disciplinarians. I always tell my niece and nephew, because they come over and they're all like, oh, we like you so much better than your parents. It's like, because I'm not the parent. I don't get to tell you not to do things. That's your mom's job. So that's where our staff kind of take a step back, because we know our students see us as the guys who get on them for their homework and turning in their projects. So we kind of just support the matches from an external point of view, so you can really get to know them and tell them, hey, I'm not this person who cares about you for the sake of you getting your work done, but for the sake of you bettering yourself, if that makes sense. Again, every match is different. So We also hope that they get an advocate that can stick with them after youth build, because a lot of the times they don't want to come back to school once they got that diploma. Once they have that diploma in their hand, they're racing out the door. So we're hoping that the mentors can help them um, on their next steps in this journey without them having to kind of grasp at straws on what their next step is. And it gives them exposure to new ideas and different people. Like I said, having a sounding board to bounce my ideas off of was extremely beneficial for me. And of course, a good friend. I mean, hands down, my big sister, my mentor, was my best friend. And she was there for me like the sister I never had. So we're hoping that each of these matches is similar in that respect. So the mentors, you guys, I hope, would get an opportunity to share knowledge, your experiences and values, the satisfaction of giving back, and a sense of pride. You definitely impact these mentees more than you'll ever know. Just seeing somebody who is successful and has a job or is going to college can make such a difference in this young person's life. And it gives you a chance to learn about our community's young people. If you don't live in the Pomona or El Monte areas, you'll get to see kind of the challenges this next generation is facing. I say next generation, but they're not really too far away from me. So, but also, again, a good friend. We hope that each of this relationships really are that, a relationship that is unique and very strong. So if you want to get involved, again, I'm really excited that you've taken this first step to attending this session. But if you want to take the next step, just know that you'll have to commit to the full 15-month match. A lot of times we know life happens. Maybe you get a new job. It's a little taxing. We ask that you try to make it work as much as possible without ending the match. I mean, we're really flexible in the amount of hours. Maybe you can only see them once a month, but for 4 hours. We're hoping that you just put in that little bit of effort to kind of know that this young person is looking forward to meeting with you, and we don't want that to end. So 15 months minimum. We also ask that you participate in our mentor screening and training process, which I know I sent the mentoring screening sheet out, and this is sometimes the most intimidating part of the mentee process, is that a lot of people see mentoring background checks and they're like, oh no, I don't know if I'm going to pass. We don't look for every tiny detail of your life. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect mentor. We just do a quick screening. We pay for everything. You just have to show up to the live scan area and they do your fingerprints and then it's done. Real simple. That you do meet with the student a minimum of 4 hours per month. You will participate in our occasional group activities and service projects. We do our best to schedule them around our mentors and mentee schedules. So typically these might be on a Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. We just ask that you be caring, consistent, honest, enthusiastic, and supportive. We just ask that you have fun with our mentees. They're really great kids. They're really, really funny, really interesting in the things that they want to do. I have students want to do everything from engineering to animal husbandry to being a culinary chef. We have all kinds of different students, and we try to match them with people in the community that share those types of interests. So we're hoping that you get involved. You again have to go through the background check and an interview. Attend 4 hours of pre-match training, and again we try to work with your schedule, and have a chance to get to know our youth before being matched. We really want to make sure that it's a good fit, so we ask that you meet with your mentee beforehand and kind of get an idea of if this is gonna work for you. And you're not in this alone. I am here to support each match. We do thorough pre-match training that gives you a lot of information, probably more information that you really want, but we try to get it through so that if you have any questions, we get you off to a good start knowing everything you need to know. Check-ins from me to see how the relationship is going. I will pest you a little bit, but I'll do it through email. so that way it's not too bothersome. I just want to see how everything's going, and ongoing training as needed. So as new results come in, I mean, we do a lot of research into what works, what doesn't work. As we find out the things that are working, we will share them with you so you can have the best match possible. And we'll have any support if you encounter any challenges. So if you come across something you think that you can't handle alone, you won't be. We will definitely be there every step of the way to make sure that this is a successful match. And there's frequent recognition. We do have a badge system, which we go over in training, and it's kind of like the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts, where you get a badge for certain accomplishments that you get with your mentee. Um, Something as simple as having a similar hobby gets you a badge. Once you finish the match, the 15-year match, you get your exemplar mentor badge. So we try to let you know what's working, and it helps us as well because we know what kind of things are being accomplished, and we love seeing positive relationships grow. um, and beyond that, we do a lot in our community. Just like I mentioned, we did Pomona Beautification Day, we did Cesar Chavez Day. We do a lot of things with we have a farm, which a lot of people don't know about us. We have a farm in South El Monte. Um, we do things like um, charity events, things like that. If you don't think you can be involved as a long-term thing, you can donate to our program. We do accept in-kind goods. So things like just, hey, I had these extra binders from my office. Could you use them? Yes, we will take any and all office supplies that you could give us. That's always welcome. Any financial contributions can go through our website. You can volunteer in our classrooms or office. We have other volunteer opportunities. Again, like our farm. I always try to talk about our farm. It's great. It's big. They have food. And talk to others about mentoring. If you yourself cannot commit to a match, maybe there's somebody you know who could really gives a young person some valuable advice and leadership. So we're always taking references or suggestions. Um, so we need you, and you can do this. Again, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect mentor. We take everybody, all shapes and sizes, and we look forward to working for you. So, for more information, feel free to contact me. This is my information, and I'll leave this up as we're winding down. I'm going to try to answer questions again. So, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me at the number there, and check out our website. All right. Thank you all for attending.